Hey guys, it's been a little while since I put a video together. A lot of those are reasonings behind some of the education that I've been doing myself and some of the focus that I've been doing for myself on learning and growing what I've learned about myself. But I've taken some time off from putting a video together, but today is one of those unique days. And I don't know if you can tell, I got the mountains behind me, but I'm in a pretty unique place today. And if I can just pan around a little bit here and show you, if you can't really tell, I'm standing in a cemetery. I'm walking through a cemetery today, and that might sound unusual. The reason behind that is I spent the day today, I just left the funeral of a friend of mine. This guy who was 40 years old when he passed, left a wife and 3 kids. In fact, left this world to go be with the son that he lost several years back. And it's one of the reasons that I decided to make another video, because some emotions and some things that I actually was able to experience today that I wanted to share. It's amazing to me to have a day filled with such sorrow and such loss. To have an experience to sit and listen to the people that Scott touched in his life, me being one of them, the example he was of a good man. Something struck me today as I was watching this, because I have this internal drive for perfection. And I've battled with that times in my life, with the thought process that perfection is not attainable. It's not even something to strive for, because it's just going to be a letdown every time you can't. But the more I think about the life that Scott lived, and the more I think about the way that he showed up as a father, as a husband, as a man, Scott was perfect. And I know that he would argue that, and he would laugh and smile his evil little laugh that he always did, and that smile like a little kid that just got in trouble or did something he should be getting in trouble for but hasn't yet. And he would say, "I'm not perfect." But the funny thing about it is that he was, and it got me thinking about the definition of perfection. The inspiration that Scott has given me to realize what is perfect. How do we show up for people? How do we show up for ourselves in this life? And I'm grateful to him. It's a very funny feeling that I'm having right now. It's not one of sadness, although there is the sadness that's involved with the passing of somebody that was such a special human being. There's a feeling of joy and gratitude for the way he showed up in his life. Now, I wasn't able to spend as much time with Scott before he passed. In fact, it's been years since I've seen him. But the lessons that I learned from him still resonate in my life every single day. The way he showed up for people, the way he was a father, the way he was a man. And I share this with you because I'm feeling inspired today. As I walk through this cemetery and feel the energy that surrounds it and the peaceful nature of it, I'm feeling inspired today to reevaluate my definition of perfection. And to be open to my own perfection. And I've talked a lot on my videos before this about the faults, about taking accountability for the choices in my life, about taking accountability for being small and being tossed around by this world and whatever it brings to me. But I think thanks to Scott, and I think thanks to days and experiences like I'm having right now, I've redefined my definition of perfection. It's one that's personal to me. And it makes me want to strive for perfection every single day. In my body, in my connection with God, in my business, and even more than that, in the relationships. Most important to me, in the relationships that matter to me in my life. A conversation that I had with a friend after the funeral. And he asked me why I disappeared. And not only from Scott's life and some of the friends that were part of our group of friends that we hung out with, but why I disappeared as myself. Why have I become such a different person? And my immediate response to him was, because I realize where my flaws are. I realize where my imperfections are. I realize that there are things in my life that I get to do better. That was my immediate response. And he looked at me and he just smiled and he says, Matt, you're perfect. You always have been, whether you want to admit it or not. And you're perfect in the way that you show up. And he challenged me. He says, I don't want you to ever lose that part of you that shows up perfectly. I don't want you to ever have to go to a space where you feel like you're not enough. I want you to be perfectly you. And I'm grateful. I'm so intensely grateful that I can have people like him show up in my life and call me out on that and put me on a path of recognizing perfection. Perfection in the imperfections that are in this world and in the people in this world. I'm grateful today for the life of Scott. I'm grateful for the legacy he left for his daughters and for his wife. The man that he created, the life that he created, the man that he was. And inspires me to be perfect in my own life as well. What I'm learning about myself is that I have that. And I have that capability. It is simply a choice. It is simply a choice.